Deep cleaning is important in helping you create a cleaner home. So before you buy your next vacuum, ask yourself, does it provide 185 air watts of suction power? Do cyclones generate 79,000 G to capture fine dust particles? Does it trap 99.97% of fine dust as small as 0.3 microns and expel cleaner air? Powerful Dyson suction to deep clean your home. Buy now from Dyson.
And that has to be a very frustrating position to be in, not just for the fans, Glenn, but also for the coaching staff and, of course, the players. Given that they've occupied a top 4 place for the first 17 rounds of the Premiership.
Yeah, they had a very strong pre-season, and what happened was Top Blackadder and Tabai Matson got there a little bit later and allowed the coaches to get on with what they've been implementing, and they grew into the season and got some results, and we've just seen that taper off a little bit. So everyone concerned that we wanted to get a result on the table again today, and actually the performance is probably the key thing. If they get the performance right, a result should certainly follow.
Matthew Carley, the referee today. The renewal of a 134-year rivalry. It dates all the way back to 1882. Bath have had Gloucester's number in recent times. They've won 8 of the last 10, including, of course, the contest in October at Kingsholm. But each and every West Country derby generates a dynamic all of its very own. Billy Heinz poised over the ball, captain today of Gloucester. Greg Laidlaw waiting in the wings, having been absent for the last couple of weeks. Came back on the bench against La Rochelle. It's not quite got the distance perhaps that Heinz was after. And Bath have a few options here. Fotuali'i, Priestland, and onwards to the big men. Trying to make those dents up the middle. Priestland. And Johnny May chasing back. Calm under pressure.
Yeah, fairly regulation start there with the kick received. The exit kick not quite going as far as Willie Hines would have wanted it, but the work right there.
May picking out Priestland. Only his 5th Premiership start this season. Here's James Hook, who was brought in late to the equation. Tom Marshall, not recovering from a knock or two picked up in France. Here's Moriarty, who was right at the forefront of everything good that they did in La Rochelle last week. All bristling aggression.
Use it.
Aled Brew, slightly late decision to come forwards, and Thrush has it.
Off feet, 8.
Heinz, Burns, Moriarty, and Atkinson well marshalled. Honeck, May and Hibbard driving into Falatau. There's Mariana Galazza, one of only 2 changes to the starting 15. Burns.
Wait on the inside, thank you.
Given the conditions, we're going to see plenty of this afternoon. Watson chasing in and gathering well.
Step back, thank you. No, they're back, they're back.
Priestland. Again, he's found space in behind May. Not quite the angle on the kick that he was after, though. That'll do in terms of clearance.
Yeah, it was unfortunate from Priestland. Good positional sense from Johnny May. Tracked the ball the whole way, but Reece Priestland put the ball into his left foot. Good option, really. Try and get himself out of his 22.
Then, please,
just didn't quite get his angles right.
Agreed another deal. Reece Priestland to stick around here in Bath. Freddie Burns, of course, will be joining in to scrap for that number 10 shirt. Here goes Homer. A little lateral. Tapwai. Falatau. Well taken by May.
Release the ball.
Charteris. Moriarty.
Thank you, Ross.
Swift to make the tackle. Clark. Homer. Morgan. Muscular defence driving him towards the touchline. Good continuity from Bath at the moment, but the headway is minimal, and then the whistle is blown and the ball is knocked forward. So a contest which dates back a very long way and is always played with the temperature pretty high.
Yeah, it's been a fairly moderate start to the game. I think defensively both teams have been off the line pretty quick. Both sides trying to exert a little bit of an advantage on the edge, and I think what we'll try and see is if they start to just pick off players on the corner of the defensive line, but a pretty conservative start for both teams.
Crouch!
First scrum of the afternoon.
Bind! Set!
Bath with a high percentage against them, but of course they had that very bad day against Leicester, which probably pulled them back a bit in the numbers.
Yeah, it'll be a bit nip and tuck this contest early on.
Both of you need to be higher than that.
Ooks.
Yeah, I was just watching Johnny May defensively last week. I thought he was brilliant, but you see here, he's wide enough to be able to make two decisions. His eyes are on Priestley, and as soon as that passing option's taken away and he knows the kick, he's also quick enough to get back, diffuse that. He's a very intelligent defensive winger, something he doesn't probably get enough credit for because he's so fast.
Yeah, nice to be able to rely on that kind of speed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this. Might look like I'm leaving it late, but I got it.
That's it.
Picked up by Morgan. Heinz breaks away. Atkinson. And he's dropped that in contact, and Bath come away with it through Brew and Watson.
Advantage over. Mark that, knock that.
A lot of space in behind Trinder, but that is out on the full.
Knock on. It's a bad kick.
We'll go back for the previous knock-on. Some way back from
if I want to, thank you.
Mark Atkinson.
Yeah.
Bath fortunate to get away with that little mistake.
Exactly the same if it's the other way round, okay? They had gone a
A few
long
question
way
marks out there. I
backwards.
think Mr. Carley's getting a little bit of advice from a couple of players. He's certainly the governor of all things appropriate in the game. His decision is final, so we're going to have another scrum.
That last one worked because I had to wait a long time. I'm not necessarily going to wait. Be still before the ball comes in. Okay.
So a couple of relatively new faces in that Bath front row. They've had problems at hooker for some time now, with Tom Dunn and Van Vuren and Walker all out. So Batty is the man who's being wrapped up in cotton wool on the bench. Chris Brooker making his first start for the club today. And Sean Knight is at tight head for Bath, of course, a former man of Gloucester. Powerful scrummage from the home team.
Well, I think Matt Carley certainly trying to stamp his authority on the game.
And there is Sean Knight getting to know Richard Hibbard.
You lost your shape.
It's often a meeting of minds.
The whole scrum went round to the left. Number one needs to be higher to start with.
Gloucester born, more than 60 appearances for the Cherry and Whites, and of course his dad Steve was something of a legend in the Gloucester pack back in the day. Must be a little difficult for him to see his son wearing that coloured shirt.
Yeah, it's life in the professional sport. Sometimes the team you grow up supporting is the team you play against, and it just fuels the fire. But Matt Carley's right there. He needs to get some stability into the scrum, and he's managed to educate the players with a penalty and allow the standards that he wants to operate so we can get a contest underway.
Sean Knight's cousin, by the way, Kieran, is on the Gloucester bench this afternoon.
Richard, 2. Once.
Matt Garvey with the ball tucked under his arm.
Break away. There we go. Thank you.
And Gloucester just beginning to splinter.
Ball available. No 7.
Taken on by Nathan Catt, named the club Players Player of the Year a little earlier in the week. Slow progress at the moment. Priestland's
just see how difficult it is to control the ball. The ball is greasy, so everything's got to be that much more sympathetic. The pass has got to be that much more tighter. Going to see a lot of forwards carrying a lot of ball today. That's the gain line. Haven't gone anywhere in a long time. Hard to be going anywhere off this slow ball. You expect to see potentially a probe and kick in behind, start working the Gloucester back three.
Elliot Stuke, and that's gone forwards. So Jeremy Thrush puts his hands together in celebration, and an awful lot of possession ultimately comes to nothing for Bath.
Well, for me, all started at the maul, so they had a real good setup, but then the time in which they gave the ball to Futili, the maul was dead. And then you're asking Priestland, you're asking your forwards to get up off the floor and get yourself over the gain line. The moment that maul starts to get stationary, you've got to use it. Wanting to play that ball on the front foot, here it is. They end up splintering off. Fair play to Gloucester, actually do a really good job on it. But the moment you start losing any traction, you're not going forward, the ball's got to go out because you've sucked in 8 of Gloucester forwards, then you've got an advantage. From this moment here, turning slow ball into fast ball on a wet day makes it very difficult.
There's Matt Garvey, who's just getting his head down to the cold face. First Premiership start for him since New Year's Eve. Had a neck operation some 4 months ago, and that's a messy old scrum.
Yeah, Matt Carley's stamping his way through, and I think coming on from Ugo's point there, Matt Carley's probably figured out that the bound phases are going to be fairly well contested with the conditions, and you know, getting scrummaging right at the right height. Matt Carley's going to try and get a game out of this, and certainly if we get some quick heel like the Gloucester first scrum, we'll get some rugby played, but the forwards are going to have to tidy up the bound phase game just so that we can get playing again.
Just listen for the sound.
Freddie Burns puts that up towards the 22, I should say Billy, of course. It'll be Freddie next year in the blue, black and white. First line out for Richard Hibbard, who is making sure that the purchase is good.
Knock on blue.
Not forwards from Bath, Hibbard into touch.
Good contest in the air, knock on blue.
Let's have another scrum.
Yes, it could be one of those days, I'm afraid, chaps. It's ball being greasy, but the great thing there from Bath is getting the competition in there and putting pressure on the ball at source, which unfortunately in this instance leads to a knock-on. But Falatau there getting really high in front of Thrush, making it a real competition and letting Richard Hibbard know that there's going to be no easy throws today.
We'll sort that, don't worry. Patience for every stage, please. Yeah,
Well, the Bath Lions, of course. Taulupi Falatau, they've had to do without him for much of this season. An injury list that's been stubborn in terms of wanting to diminish at any point. Again, big pressure being applied by Fotuali'i. Burns. Morgan. Burns. Decent option.
Mark that, please, Adam. I've got it.
But again, just the angle, 22. Not quite what he was after.
So what could have been a lot worse if the ball was allowed to be rolled, that's for sure. But a good option. Gloucester 1, 2, 3 phases, not going anywhere. Start to turn the wing and start pinning them in those corners, only giving them the option of to kick them the ball back.
Much better.
I think the kick was a great option, but the thing I saw in the setup was David Halafanua starting to probe himself into that midfield region from the wing, and a big power carrier like him could really be an asset for Gloucester today.
James Hook. Quick bit of chat with Johnny May before the ball is launched. And Falatau is hit hard by May. Really good chase. Jacob Rowan is there alongside to help him. The ball squirts out. Burns pressurising Tapuai.
All onside. Touch.
Hook. Trying to get outside. Francois Lowe, Ben Morgan gathering ball plus Charteris. And Nathan Catt's there too. Atkinson. That's neat. And Trinder is after it. Watson. Sensing an opportunity, perhaps.
Outside, taken in.
Priestland. Brew.
Taken in.
Looks like he might have just sliced that a little bit, so
Yeah,
the ball also having been taken back into the 22 means that the line-out will be within it.
Well, these little short sides are going to be an area that they can probe, and with that pressing defence, squeezing that ball in behind, the pressure's going to come. I think that one's come off the shin. That can happen in the weather, but there could be a good chance for pressure in behind the line with the defence moving up so quickly.
I think you're absolutely right. Any probing kick, especially when it's on the ground, one, it makes it hard for the fullback to pick it up. And if he is picking it up, he's been faced by a couple of defenders. On that occasion, Anthony Watson did really well to pick it up and recycle the ball.
Not the straightest, it must be said.
That's a real shame.
Clearly not straight throw.
It's a great way to set up a drive with the man just standing on the floor. You take all the lift mechanics out. It's there quickly, you can get the set quickly, and on a day when weather conditions are making lifts greasy and the ball greasy to throw, being inventive like that's going to help.
Weather's playing havoc with the Hibbard hair as well, isn't it?
Same standards in your play.
So those roots need looking at, don't they?
Yeah.
It's not very good. Doesn't look very healthy. Mind you, with my 0.5 on top. I'm not sure I'm allowed an opinion when it comes to hair.
Some great hair on Welsh front rows of recent times.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Reset that.
And once again, straight to deck.
Heads are too low from both of them. Heads
They're going to need to get a lot higher, I think. They're going to have to be respectful of each other and get the scrum up.
If I don't think both sides are legal, then I'm not going to do anything. Okay, so you both need to be better. Here we are. Time off.
So, treatment required by the look of things.
They both need to be better. You've got to accept that.
John Afoa is looking to have a... Oh, it's a stud issue.
Yeah, okay, but if I feel like at the breakdown, your players go off their feet and trap one of their players from...
And as we know, when it comes to the front row and frac, when it comes to anybody in the pack, you've got to have all your studs in, Glenn. That's lesson one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's sort of scrum 101, really. Put the right boots on, get the right studs in, particularly on this condition. Back in the day, you'd have the 21 mils with the washers on for extra traction, but John Afoa is a tight head who scrums incredibly low, and often you'll see John's knee on the ground, and that sort of footwear and the traction is really a big asset to someone like John, who can be incredibly powerful from a low position.
So glad we got you here today.
Yeah.
Because Hugo's absolutely no use when it comes to that kind of thing.
Well, we've commented on the hair.
Bind! Set!
Now, this is becoming a rather familiar sight, isn't it?
Please be patient.
Free kick awarded to Bath. 2 penalties and a free kick from 5 scrummages so far.
On there so the ball can come in.
Well, the challenge we're going to have today is John Afoa gets incredibly low. He's trying to chase his feet there, but if you look at his knee position, very close to the floor, and it's such a fine margin to that scrum breaking down, so they're going to have to adjust that height, and perhaps John Afoa is going to have to come up to make sure we get some outcomes here.
Moriarty snaring that one. There, the extended go-go gadget arms of Charteris trying to slow things up, but it's safely secured through Afoa, and this is Hines. Falatau, eyes on the ball.
Well, I've already mentioned it once, but Johnny May is turning those potentially slightly long box kicks into actual challenges, and it makes it so hard now for Bath to try and clear their lines, pressure on Footy Ali to get the ball back up in the air. The unseen work is doing a lot of good work for Gloucester.
Here's Moriarty, big collision. And that's gone forwards from Brooker, taken in by May. Burns. Wrestled to the ground by Francois Lowe.
No, 7-7, no! Let it go, let it go.
I like the look of that, Lowe.
No, there was a ruck already. You can't take the second dip.
Straight through the middle goes Morgan. Good offloading as well. Thrush is there. Decent step on him too.
Oh, some great footwork from the big man there. Keeps going forward and...
Change of direction from Johnny May. This is James Hook.
Use it.
Morgan. Gloucester just beginning to build a meaningful platform. Rowan chasing after this one, but Brew taking it in safely enough, and this is Homer.
Hold. Thank you.
Johnny May. Well caught by Brew. Hines.
Tackle, release.
Burns. Atkinson. Josh Honeck. Not a big New Zealand influence in the Gloucester ranks these days. Hines another of those, but counter-ruck is excellent from Bath. Homer safely in to protect it for his scrum half. And Priestland digs it over the top for Tapuai. They've won the penalty.
With your feet to stop the quick ball.
And what about the advantage?
Blew the whistle. Because the kick went up and it got charged. The Gloucester players stopped. All got trapped between his feet. Thank you.
Matthew Kiley's got that wrong. A very good referee. He played a slightly longer advance for Bath not that long ago. You can see this. This is where the penalty comes through.
There's a ruck.
Holding the ball with his feet. It couldn't be any more blatant. Eventually the ball comes out once Footiley. This is a lovely kick right over the top, straight to Tapuai. You'd probably want to play that, at least see what's to happen from it.
Oh, I totally agree. I think we're looking for some rugby. Both teams are being ambitious and trying to play, and that's a great piece of skill. So, you know, Bath could feel a bit hard done by, but they've got a chance now to get into this top attacking third where they haven't really visited so far.
New boots for the tight head.
I find it amazing, to be honest, because you're out here hour and a half before the game. It's not surprising. In fairness, actually, I'll take that back, because it was dry about an hour ago. He's actually started chucking it down in the last 45 minutes or so.
I hear what you're saying, but for a front row forward on the tight head side to be changing studs, I would expect he'd got the right ones in longer if necessary.
Yeah, true. I mean, I doubt he came out of Mouldies, you know what I mean, an hour and a half ago.
I don't think they own Mouldies.
Just make sure you watch me if they don't. Hold your 10, guys.
Have we covered studs now?
Hair and studs done.
Yeah.
Studs, hair, scrums, love it.
Line over, Maul.
Good position this one for Bath, and there's a penalty. Gloucester joining from the side, and this is within kicking range.
It's from the Maul to here, guys.
I think he's tagged John Arfoa there, so quick after the boot change he's been done for coming in from the side. And Bath setting up that 6+1 drive with Falatau at the reception there, gets him on the ball quickly, and you can see John Arfoa there. He's just come around the side. He's trying to suggest to Matt Carley that he's legal, but he's done the disruption. So
33-year-old former All Black. Well-paid man, we understand, by Gloucester, but my goodness, they get value for money, don't they?
yeah, they work him really hard, and look, he's outstanding, and the height he can scrummage at, as long as he's got his foot position in the purchase on the ground, he is almost unmovable, because the objective of the loose head is to get underneath that tight edge chest, and when he's so low, it's very difficult.
Looked like a wobbly one, but it's got through the middle of the sticks, and that's all that matters. Points on the board, 21 minutes and 40 seconds later, and they've gone to Rhys Priestland.
Yeah, first opportunity for Rhys Priestland, as you said, wasn't the prettiest, but I don't think he'll care. It's been a tough start to the game. It's been a lot of jostling, a lot of sparring.
And that's just the commentary box.
Yeah.
Ball gathered in by Tom Homer. Just wait and see what Bath do with this possession before we have a word with Toby Booth.
Thank you. You're on.
That's headed James Hook's way. And he's going to return the favour. Again, not really the distance on it that he was after. Homer underneath it.
First on his feet, let it go now, Blue.
That's brilliant from Moriarty. Really good kick chase once again. Hands straight over. Not just happy with getting his hands on it, but turning over.
Good work from the blind side. Jacob Rowan taking on the gain line. Burns, Hibbard.
It's great line speed from Bath there.
Cat and low, very, very quick, weren't they? This is Morgan.
Okay, thank you.
A bit of patience here from Gloucester. Burns trying to free up Atkinson, but again, the defensive line is strong. Morgan bustling his way beyond the 10-metre line. Atkinson has had enough of all of that. Now that is a fine kick. So let's bring in Toby Booth. Toby, 3-0. Haven't had a great deal of possession. It's been pretty scrappy, isn't it? The weather is not helping our cause. What's your assessment so far?
No, you're right. It hasn't, and it sort of brings into massive the way you exit out of your own half and how clinical you are at the breakdown. I think we need to clean up our attacking breakdown, and you know, we've invited a bit too much pressure in out of our half, haven't kicked very well. So with those sort of things, you don't get too much ball. But there's some encouraging signs in relation to the set-piece stuff. I heard Glenn was talking about, a Foa. He's fallen on his face twice. So, there's about being low and there's about being legal. So we're hoping that we can get on top in that area. But as you said, as you'd expect, a West Country derby is always an arm wrestle.
Thanks for your time, Toby.
Cheers.
Yeah, Glenn, and basically Toby Booth's telling you to shut up.
He's all right.
Gloucester pressing. It is Afoa who's at the bottom of that pile of bodies, and they are within 5 metres, as close as either side have come to a try. Hines instructing his men. Afoa again. Atkinson. May. Well tackled by Brooker, who's not very keen on moving, and Matthew Carley doesn't like it.
Exactly what Toby Booth was talking about, the breakdown and the way in which you exit, and at the moment Bath aren't quite doing that. They're not doing it quite as efficiently as what they want to do. Johnny May, lovely inside, gets inside Chris Brooker, who doesn't roll quick enough. His legs are being lazy. Easy option for Matthew Carley to give away the penalty.
So a chance for Gloucester to level the scoreboard, and a chance for us to tell you about what else is coming across BT Sport in the next few days and weeks. Round 21, all the highlights tonight from midnight. BT Sport 1 HD. Penultimate round of matches, of course, in the regular season. Rugby Tonight Extra, Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We'll be basing ourselves at Wasps and Harlequins. A little look at the stellar Quins career of Nick Evans as well. And then a week on Friday, the 12th of May, it's time for Europe again. A Challenge Cup final. Gloucester against Stade Francais, 7:30 on 2 HD. And Clermont Saracens, the Champions Cup final, 4 o'clock. BT Sport 2 HD, and both of those matches, of course, coming from BT Murrayfield. Lots to look forward to. Billy Burns is patched up, and James Hook is lining up the penalty.
I'm not going to ask him to put it in until it's dead stage.
Easy enough for Hook. 3 points apiece.
Well, it's an even money contest at the moment in all things, and 3 points apiece certainly backs that up. But I think what we're looking for is the game to break out, and the conditions are playing a part. The players, I think, are trying to be positive. A little bit of discipline there could have averted the penalty, but 25, 26 minutes into a contest, it's very well set up.
It's no Joshua Klitschko, is it, Hugo?
No, it's not. Dotero's at the box in.
Funny enough, he's been quiet about that. Francois Lowe is driven off the ball, but he's managed to secure it. And this is the first time that Bath have been inside the 22.
Oh, that's on.
Chip from Fotuali'i. It is there, and it is a try for Faletau. Wow. Game broken open. The 8-9 access to the 4. Great finish from Taulupe Faletau, his first Premiership try for Bath. But he has his scrum half to thank for a little bit of impish brilliance.
Well, it's a brilliant kick from Fotuali'i over there, and it's well followed up. I think the first play is Elabru's take from the kickoff. That set the position up on the field, but that's a great finish from the big man. Over he goes, and it was going to take a spark to light the game up, and Khan Fotuali'i has just lit us up right now.
Well, you can see what it means. Smiles all round. Fotuali'i turning 35 next month, but still putting in some very high quality performances week by week. That's a much sweeter strike from Priestland. Bath into double figures. Ugo.
Yeah, I was just having a look at the try. Really good identification of space. If you see at the bottom of that rock, Johnny Mays, there's no right winger to marshal that space. Brilliant bit of skill from Fotuali'i. Great combination. Puts the ball over the top, and then how about this for a finish? A lovely pickup and slide. 7 points.
Just got the feeling James Hook knew what was coming there, but was feeling a little bit powerless to stop it. He was pointing in that direction. He had identified the potential trouble spot.
Well, no, he certainly had, and you know, that communication at the back is going to be massively important, and you know, that's what this game needed. You know, we're 26, 27 minutes in, and we've gone from scrum to scrum to scrum, and all of a sudden we get a bit of rugby brilliance.
Thumping hit on Priestland from James Hook.
No, it's all right. Ball is here. Let the ball come. Use it! Thank you. No, it's inside.
Ugo.
We can see how this game's been played at the moment. 80% of the game's been played in between the 2:22, so it means when you exit, when you've got the ball attacking wise, you take your opportunities. We saw it there from Fotuali'i and Faletau. Also, your discipline's got to be brilliant in the way you exit, because you're not going to get many opportunities.
Thank you.
Hibbard finding Thrush. May.
He's off feet.
Morgan. Burns. Atkinson. Gloucester finding it pretty hard to break down this blue, black and white wall at the moment. Gloucester presents it. Thrush. Nice awareness. Hook. Homer. He will run. Skips past Thrush. Very well tackled by Heinz in the end, just shy of the halfway line. Cat and Brooker. Homer. Good positioning from Burns. Faletau claiming this. And Burns bumped but clinging on.
First on his feet, number 2.
And it's fallen nicely for Afoa, and Morgan is on the charge. Great pace onto the ball from Mariano Gloucester. And again, similarly from Moriarty. Gloucester really attacking this area around the fringes of the ruck. Morgan. Burns. Atkinson. Thrush running the dummy line. Trinder goes wide for Rowan. And again, arriving at great pace, Josh Honeck. And rewarded the Cherry and Whites for some excellent continuity. They've got the penalty. handling in the ruck.
A little conversation there.
Who's been up to trouble all day? I'm not sure anyone's been up to trouble all day.
Well, here we go. The breakdown is becoming more and more important, and Richard Hibbard here gets in perfect position, has full rights to it, affects the turnover, and then they move the ball along. These mid sort of short sides, they're starting to attack around this transition zone next to the ruck, which is giving them some go forward. This then, Moriarty backs it up with the second carry again in behind. Francois Lowe has a good go at that. Then they can start to think about pushing wide because they've shortened this defensive line. Again, keep punching on the inside. Morgan a little bit lost there.
Moriarty claiming important line-out possession. Bath driving them infield, but the ball very secure. Hines for Atkinson. Hines again. Burns bringing in Halafanua. Well handled. Fotuali'i with the tackle. Picked up by Morgan, and Gloucester having to rebuild. Moriarty. A lot of tackles going in here from Bath. Burns pulls it back for Atkinson, but it's well read yet again. Seventh phase, but well back behind the gain line where they started. Trinder, though, is inch perfect with the kick. Immaculate from Trinder. May with the finish. Was he onside?
It looked pretty good from here. I think we'll get a little replay. In fact, I've just seen it up on my screen. He is onside. Bath's defence, up until that point, was fantastic. They were able to get line speed. Gloucester asking so many questions. Bath shutting the door in their face. And when you're up against such a hard press, the one thing you need is a little bit of vision, a bit of brilliance, and a bit of skill. And Henry Trinder's all three of those. A beautiful deft touch. Johnny May on the same wavelength. A simple try for a quality player. Outstanding. Really, really good rugby. Let's face it, this first half hasn't been vintage, but we've seen two kicks which have really opened up the game, brought beauty to what so far hasn't been the best of shows. Lovely try.
Lovely touch from a man who has had to deal with an awful lot, Henry Trinder. So that's going to sail on wide from Burns, but little spark of magic from Trinder.
That's it. Lovely bit of vision from him. You just see when the ball goes back out to him, he looks up straight for his wingers, sees that Alan Brewer is tight, perfectly wastes this kick onto Johnny May's right hand. Simple try, well executed. Lovely stuff.
And try scorer immediately on the ball again from the restart. Nice combination work between the centres and the winger. Trinder almost like a new signing for Gloucester at the moment after all the trouble he's had with injury, knees being reconstructed seemingly every season. Great to see him back getting some proper game time.
I'm thrilled, absolutely thrilled. He's a guy who's been blighted. His whole career's been blighted for injury, but when he can get a concession of games together, we can see his quality. Defensively, saw La Rochelle, 3 turnovers today. What a lovely touch to get Gloucester right back into this game.
Fotuali'i feeding Priestlands. Tapuai for Clark. Good little bust through, and the continuity is provided by Falatau. Here's Homer. Suddenly the game crackling into life. Knight, Tapuai, Brooker can't hang on to it. Gloucester ball. Kick through by Burns. Johnny May chasing down Tapuai.
Taken in.
That's neat from the Aussie. Watson trying his luck between Hibbard and Morgan. Homer. Well taken by Halafanua. And Francois Lowe piling through. Penalty Bath.
Well, the game's certainly breaking up, and we're seeing a bit of shortening of the defensive lines. And the point Ugo makes about the try there, it's really important with the vision that you can see that outside defender shorten up, creating space. And we're starting to see it from both sides. They're looking to the edge to try and execute some attack. And just that little bobble there that the intercept came from just shows that Bath are looking the same way as perhaps Gloucester are.
I've forgotten the first 20 minutes.
Thank God. It wasn't that memorable, let's face it. Just to add to Bath's worries, I mean, a position where they've had so many injuries. Chris Brooker looks to be suffering from a little bit of an ankle injury. He's getting strapped up. 5 hooker injuries, is it? He might be number 6.
Yeah, they've had a real problem in that area. Ross Batty, the man on the bench. Not this time.
Just time off a second.
A match of this kind of dynamic, Glenn, with the weather as it is, seems to be very, very tight. Every single point's going to be precious, isn't it?
Well, it is, and what you can expect from your team is the work rate and the endeavour, and certainly following on from earlier thoughts of Johnny Mayer, watching his work rate. He's popped up for a try, he's been chasing box kicks, he hasn't given up. That's what you need to make a difference in the day like today, is that work rate and energy.
Aled Brute. Burns. Good covering from Homer. Priestland.
Use it.
Garvey. And some excellent defensive work from Gloucester. Ultimately, the kick tennis working in their favour.
That's the middle. Step off, please, Bath. Thank you.
Well, a couple of minutes out here, Gloucester have an opportunity to build for another score, just to push themselves back and heading towards the half-time break. And looks like a special coming up with Hines at the front. Burns has gone to half-back, so this could be interesting.
Hines feeds Burns. Atkinson stuttering and clobbered by Lowe, taken on by Morgan.
Off feet now, 9, let it go.
Touching some useful holes, Ben Morgan, this afternoon. Hibbard to Moriarty, the Welshman in tandem. Ball stolen. Max Clark. Johnny May chasing back. Watson bearing down on him. And May finds touch.
Another very good defensive set from Bath, and it all comes from that man again. Footiley, 70 turnovers. Look at this alliance speed. Billy Burns exposes his ribs, and Footiley does not give up on that opportunity. Opens him up, puts him on the deck. That's the kind of pressure, that's the line speed which Bath have consistently been putting on Gloucester so far this half.
Yep, defensively strong, lovely delivery, and a turnover demon as well. Clock's in the red. Gloucester in possession, but back behind their own 10-metre line. Half-time. A forgettable first 20, a much more adventurous, exciting second 20, and a couple of great kicks. One from Footiley, which led to the Falatau score, and another from Henry Trinder, which allowed Johnny May to touch down. Very, very balanced. Half-time at the Rec. Bath 10, Gloucester 8.
Deep cleaning is important in helping you create a cleaner home. So before you buy your next vacuum, ask yourself, does it provide 185 air watts of suction power? Do cyclones generate 79,000 G to capture fine dust particles? Does it trap 99.97% of fine dust as small as 0.3 microns and expel cleaner air? Powerful Dyson suction to deep clean your home. Buy now from Dyson.
Bath Rugby Foundation empowers vulnerable children to succeed, and in Bath, when you scratch below the surface, it's not that perfect. The young people we work with, generally in education, they're slipping through the net, they're falling through the net. In fact, there's an argument that there isn't a net anymore, and more young people are finding that traditional education isn't working for them.
A lot of these young people have negative experiences with learning in a traditional environment, and so what we try to do is turn it on its head.
It's more hands-on, it's more practical, and obviously we've got the rec here, so they'll be out doing exercise, not necessarily rugby, it can be anything.
Using sport, it is such a powerful tool to develop young people and help them to realise what opportunities are out there and to how to access them and to get the skill set to be able to move forward in life.
We are trying to create strong children rather than fixed broken adults. We see that we are there at the start to make a big difference.
We currently need to raise over £800,000 a year, so please come and get involved in one of our events. You can walk, run, cycle, sleep out to tackle youth homelessness, volunteer or partner with us to support our award-winning work. Just a simple donation can make a huge difference to those who have had the toughest start to life. Thank you.
Deep cleaning is important in helping you create a cleaner home. So before you buy your next vacuum, ask yourself, does it provide 185 air watts of suction power? Do cyclones generate 79,000 G to capture fine dust particles? Does it trap 99.97% of fine dust as small as 0.3 microns and expel cleaner air? Powerful Dyson suction to deep clean your home. Buy now from Dyson.
Billy Burns readying himself, and Gloucester with a little bit of work to do, but they are more than in this game. Nip and tuck all the way. Just two little moments which have changed things for either side. Friesland feeding Falatau. Trinder straight into the action. No changes made at the break to either Bath or Gloucester. He sends that up to Morgan on halfway. As he slipped through the tackle of Watson, Clark there to make sure he doesn't slip too far forwards. Moriarty is on hand here. And Bath have the penalty. Good work from Nathan Catt.
Yeah, very fair penalty there, isolated in the carry. The line speed really winning the race. You know, the Bath line speed really putting pressure on that carry to Moriarty. He's just isolated, and Josh Heineck's really got to do a better job than that.
So early pressure from the home side.
Very much like a pair of prize fighters going toe-to-toe this game at the moment.
Elliot Stook claiming this one, former Gloucester man, of course. Just outside the 22.
Use it!
Falatau. Gibbard momentarily uncomfortable. Fatuali'i searching for options. Stook is there. Drives into Honeck. Friesland to Clark. Good little drive from Sean Knight. Garvey. Gloucester fully loaded on the short side in terms of defence. And they're slowing up the ball to decent effect at the moment. Rowan grappling for it. Really good thrust again from Catt, and Clark coming hammering through the middle. Quicker ball now, Priestland, Tapuai, and Brew.
patience from Bath, and it's paid off in spades.
Well, certainly it was a try built from aggression and carries forward, but they created space on the edge. It's a beautiful pass from Tapawai, and Bruce finished that in an outstanding fashion. But the lead-up work done by the heavy concrete mixers up front, pounding away at the Gloucester defensive line, and that's the result. You shorten that defensive line, you're going to give a finisher a chance. Alan Brew doing the damage straight over Willie Hines.
Good body position as well from Brew as he looked to finish. Weight all heading infield, making sure there was no danger of the touchline coming into play. And he'll be thrilled with that. First appearance in a Bath shirt since early February for the Welshman. That's very good from Priestland. And Bath have begun this second half in fine style. Quality finish from Alan Brew. Changes being made to the Gloucester front row. We have a new loose head and a new hooker on the pitch. Matsu'u is on for Hibbard. And McAllister on for Honak as well.
Use it!
Botuali'i with the clearance. Josh Honak making his way off. Uncapped New Zealander. Replaced by Paddy McAllister.
Get out of the gap and I'll find out. Step out. Gloucester.
And there's Motu Matu'u, 30th birthday today. Taken by Jeremy Thrush towards the tail.
A lot of pressure on that lineup from Bath. Competition in the end from Falatau, and then lots of pressure coming through from Charteris to destabilise the attack. Now they have to build it through the big fellas.
Burns. Trinder.
Now leave it 7. Thank you.
And that looked painful for Trinder. I think he fell awkwardly there. That will be a concern for Gloucester after all the injury woes he's been through. Just got himself in a real tangle as he went to earth. Burns. Hook. Moriarty. Barrelling inside the 22. Trinder still down. Afoa. Hines for Burns. And Jeremy Thrush, who really does have some great footwork about him. That's the way of New Zealand locks.
Well, they have the footwork because he's running out of support and he feels isolated, and he's really trying to stop getting hit very squarely and physically. So it's more a survival mechanism to maintain field position rather than to really build momentum. And that's really where Gloucester need to add a bit of dynamism there. And Morgan there on a carry. Try and get there. We go. Bust forward. Some quicker ball now.
Playing with only 14 men as well. Matthew Carley completely unfazed by the injury to Henry Trinder. And they've been playing around him a good deal as well as they bustle their way up towards the 22. But Galas has had the ball stolen. Fotuali'i has it. Priestlands finding an excellent touch. So in the end, quite a damaging passage of play for the Cherry and Whites, and this perhaps the most damaging element of all.
I think we have a serious injury.
Yeah, Matthew Carley just calling out there.
It was in contact, Matt.
Yeah,
Devastating if it is.
I just didn't see the first part of the breakdown.
This is the steal by Fotuali'i. The hard work was actually done by Garvey in the first instance. And this is the injury to Henry Trinder.
Yeah, okay, no worries.
Is it that right leg that's
It looks like potential knee from his action, from his own player.
So you've just got to feel for him. He's been to hell and back, not just with the knees. The shoulders have been a problem, hamstrings, jaws, thighs, you name it, he's injured it.
Yeah, great news, he's sitting up and he's getting mobile. I guess in his mind he goes down and something happens and he reaches back to the dark places, but we just want to see him on his feet. The play he pulled off in the first half of the try, that's what we want to see, is Henry Trinder back up and playing, and great to see he's on his feet, and hopefully he continues.
Well, that is terrific news to see him back up and about and happy to continue as well. I suppose he's probably in one of those places where he's just beginning to trust his body again, and that in itself is not easy when you've been through what he's been through.
I think you're absolutely right. Hopefully it was just a bit of a stinger, so a bit of a trapped nerve in the neck, but he's a tough boy. It's good to see him back on his feet.
Matu'u, not the tidiest. Galazza.
Inside. Use it. No. 3, that's enough. He's inside.
Heights looking for the safety of the stands. Ugo, what have you been looking at?
Yeah, just been looking at the last try, actually. It's been really good combination. Max Clark, who's taken up a massive line. We'll get back to it in a little while, but it was a really good play just in terms of Bath running really hard, and then the pretty boys out wide executing really well.
Charteris. Lovely ball for Fotuali'i and Priestland to use. Tapuai. What a ball for Clark! Just hammering his way through. A magical line. And Bath, when they play like that, are irresistible. One of their best tries of the season. Make no mistake about that. Jonathan Joseph not playing today. Max Clark wearing 13 and making it count.
Well, what a hard line to hit, and gee, just kept on going, but great off the top ball from Charteris. The back line flattened up, and he's hit a beautiful angle right inside. Looks like Trinder there, but he's had the presence of mind to step, and Falatau's just corralled him in and said, you keep going, son.
I think they enjoyed that a little bit. As well they might. That was special. Match-winning score for him against Saracens back in December. And a very important one here this afternoon as well. Matt Garvey is coming off. Which will mean that Tom Ellis is on the field. And there are 2 more points from Rhys Priestland. The scoreboard looking altogether different now. And Bath in flying form.
Ruthless attacking blow from Max Clark here. He's spotting Henry Trinder, just taking a big knock to his head. Probably didn't want to make that tackle after getting up. But Max Clark, uncompromising, a very strong ball carrier. Not just the line, but a wonderful finish too.
So 3 tries in the bag. 1 more for the bonus point. And as we told you at the start of this match, really 2 bonus points the requirement for Bath if they're to have a sniff of a playoff semi-final. It is a tough ask, given that Leicester are driving that particular bus, really. 62 points, Bath 53 ahead of kick-off here today. And Leicester away to Worcester next week. Bath have to travel to the AJ Bell.
Yeah, you step out.
Change at scrum half for Gloucester. Greg Laidlaw's on for Hines. And Henry Trinder's coming off to be replaced by 12 Trees. Moriarty for Laidlaw, but again, Matthew Carley doesn't like the line-out.
Well, I think that's a direct result of built pressure from Bath's aerial defence at line-out time, and they've been squeezing the gap and putting pressure in there and doing a great job and really trying to destabilise Gloucester's platform. But coming back to the game, we've had 3 outstanding tries scored. You know, it's been a great example of attacking rugby at its finest. When we sort of the first 25 minutes didn't have a lot to really cheer about, but here we are.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Ready.
Penalty Bath. Matthew Carley taking issue with John Afoa.
You're too low to the ground.
So there's the table as it stands at the moment. If Bath cling on to the win here, of course that will not guarantee them anything in terms of the Premiership playoffs. It will guarantee them Champions Cup rugby next season. But a bonus point, that would take them under 58 and within range of Leicester.
Bath have really turned it up, switch gears, and for Gloucester, compounding errors. A try, a penalty, another one at the scrum. And they find themselves having to defend as Bath chasing that 4th try.
Falatau securing the ball, that Jacob Rowan is right in the middle of all of that. And the ball appears out of nowhere. Watson, good power, but not much room to move in.
Step back now, he's gone past the ball anyway. Stay back. Use it!
Sean Knight to the short side, and here comes Clark again. Bustling through the middle. Laidlaw makes the tackle, and the pass not quite where it needed to be. Tidied by Matu'u. And Gloucester keen to play. Atkinson wide for Twelvetrees. Mays on the outside. And well, that was the scenic route, and it didn't turn out to be quite as scenic as Johnny May would have liked. Laidlaw, Burns. Hook. Pressure all the time at the breakdown from Bath. Good numbers there. Kick forwards. Ross Batty is ruled to be onside. Tapuai bearing down on that try line now. Brew, already a try scorer this afternoon. High tackle from Gloucester, so the arm is outstretched. A penalty forthcoming. Priestland, Clark, who is really beginning to relish his role now. And back we go.
Well, Max Clark certainly growing into this game, becoming a real influence in this last 10-minute period, and Bath just managing the field beautifully and keeping pressure on, and it's resulting in opportunities for more points.
Seems to be popping up in all the right places, Ugo, as well, and timing those runs, keeping himself hidden to the last minute.
Yeah, you're right, and he's actually doing the direct contrast of what Gloucester aren't. Gloucester are playing from coast to coast, very, very lateral. Max Clark, understanding that the ball's quite greasy, being so direct, getting that go forward. And as a result, not only a beautifully run try, but this is Max Clark going on that blind side. Lovely opportunity there, almost gets the offload away to Footy. They knock on. But in fairness, he's trying things, he's been very direct, he's been very good defensively as well. In a game which was fairly average, let's say, in the first 20 minutes, his game's really come to life. 4 tries, Bath chasing that bonus point. They desperately need it as well.
Bath beginning to stretch clear. 27 points to 8 as we see the end of Anthony Watson's day. He's been replaced by Robbie Fruin. This one taken in by Homer. Driven along the ground by Priestland. Hook gathers it in.
Moriarty. Gloucester now in an all too familiar position of having to chase the game. 12 trees, Burns and May. Advantage with Gloucester.
No clear release. 16. Clearly off the ball, please.
Ross Batty, the offender.
Yeah, Gloucester there just playing fairly deep. Bath's line speed really causing them some problems, and they're seemingly searching for that wide attacking route that Ugo mentioned before of how do we go around Bath, but the reality is you need to go forward before you can go around. So where they need to be is a bit more direct, and the big ball carriers, Moriarty, Morgan, they need to get the go forward for the team.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. HIA, time off. Thank you.
Dave Atwood coming on.
Yeah, let's get here and not close the gap. That's the middle. Stay there, guys. Time's off. Time's off. He's going for a head injury.
Elliot Stook is off for a head injury assessment.
7.
So a first appearance for Dave Atwood since New Year's Eve. Another former Gloucester man back in the day, of course.
Step off at the front. First man, stay there.
Through the hands of Moriarty. Foot to Ali'i. What a signing he's been.
Use it! Yeah. Let go of him.
Johnny May in to meet it. Ball is loose, and it's gone forwards from Gloucester.
There's a huge amount of pressure on all facets of play. I think Bath defensively are doing a fantastic into a great position to launch from, and Bath completely ruin it and turn the ball over.
Just stop it. Thank you.
Changes, more changes. Savage for Galazza and Ludlow for Rowan in the back row.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Blue, 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 number 1 hinging.
Gloucester this time, given the decision.
Number 1. It's not you, Ross, it's number 1.
Sean Knight's got a bit to say about that, but it was Nathan Catt who was judged to have dropped it.
There's not many front rows who tend to agree with these penalties when they go against them. I think Nathan Catt's still in disbelief there. The hinging's the call, that elbow's down. Arfo is in an unbelievably low position, and it's difficult, but the body shape's been called by the touch judge who's seen that elbow go down first.
So a chance now for the Cherry and Whites to convert some of this pressure into points. Again, Bath disrupting, but Matthew Carley was not happy with the way that they did it, so a free kick.
It's great pressure at line out, Tom.
Laidlaw, Morgan. Having a hard time going to ground. Laidlaw, Atkinson. Feverish defending here from Bath as the ball is fired flat and hard.
Use it.
McAllister. Arfoa. Blue, black and white everywhere, and the pressure tells with the turnover. Swept up by Atwood, and Fotuali'i drives it away. Touched in flight, and so the distance isn't what he was after, but nevertheless the pressure relieved, and much reward, Ugo, for a terrific defensive display.
It has been another
you understand what I asked you?
Another potential serious injury.
You step first, and then you're putting your arm right across on their side. Stop it.
Gloucester can pound their worries. Here it is.
Step across, and I don't want you to put your arm on their side. Just stop it.
Just collision of heads there.
Okay? Stop it, because he's then following you and closing the gap.
That's Matu'u. And he's going to need to be
caused by head-on-head collision.
Taken off the field.
No foul play.
Bano Abano is coming on, and so too Kane Palmer, Newport. A couple of new props then for Bath to go with Ross Batty, so an all-changed front row.
Okay.
At the very least, Matu'u will need to head off for an HIA, so Richard Hibbard will have to go to work again. Well, that's ludicrous if he's playing on.
16?
Yeah, I think we've seen him go to the ground there fairly heavily, and
Over here.
No, he's heading off. Or is he? Surely he's heading off.
Well, he needed Matthew Carney to navigate him to the line out.
Time on.
Well, that's not right, is it?
no, we're trying to protect our players, and here we go.
Well, that is another massive oversight, it has to be said.
Wait, no. Thank you. One side.
Clearly out when he hit the ground. Halafanua for Morgan.
He's off his feet. That's fine. He's not on the ball either.
Burns. Atkinson for 12 trees, and that was forwards. Let's have another look at this. It wasn't pretty at first sight. And there he is. He's gone.
That left arm goes very relaxed.
Well, if there is a suspicion of concussion, the player has to leave the field. It's very straightforward.
Yeah, he's coming off the pitch now. I think they've just finally seen a replay. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Ali.
15, yeah?
So Hibbard is on. And so too is Charlie Sharples.
We'll go here, Christian. Good pitch, okay, good height. Let's go. You good, Dean? Okay, wait.
Sharples occupying the fullback slot now with Hook off the field.
Crouch! 5, set.
Billy Burns making way.
Balls out, balls out. Move now, tackler. Step, no, step. Thank you.
So apologies, Hook is staying on, Burns is off. Sharples at fullback, Hook seems to be occupying the fly half slot as the ball comes back for Priestlands. Halafanua under pressure from Fruin, forwards from Fruin.
Almost perfect. Priestlands. What beautiful kick that was. You'd want to chase that all day. Robbie Fruin gets up above Halafanua, just doesn't quite manage to grasp it, and it's tough in these conditions. But lovely vision, perfectly weighted kick from Priestland.
Just steady up and patient.
Fruin couldn't quite capitalise.
It was a wonderful passage of play because the scrum was just an absolute abomination, and trying to find some space over there was never going to happen, and it's a beautifully way to kick your spot on right. Robbie Fruin just needs to execute that play, and that'll give the platform for Bath to kick on.
Elliot Stoop back with us. He's past his HIA, so Atwood off again. Musical chairs at the moment. Laidlaw for Atkinson. Laidlaw on the loop, and Tapawai is there, but not quite able to grasp the Scottish number 9.
Let it go. No, it's there.
Savage, 12 threes.
Moriarty, Urbano with the tackle. Batty in over the top. Hook. Ludlow.
If you watch Bath defensively, as spoken about before the game, their line speed's been brilliant. It's harassed and it's rushed and it's put Gloucester skills under almighty pressure right throughout this 65 minutes. It's an offensive defence and it's been brilliant. Lovely line, perfectly executed tackle from Tapawai. Now watch his line speed. And it all comes about because they're just not throwing a huge amount of numbers into the ruck. It allows more men on the feet, hence why you can get this line speed. And when you want to take the ball to the line as an attacking player, it makes it very difficult.
Well, the other recognition is there's no connection at the back of Gloucester's first pod. There's nowhere that the ball can be distributed to out the back. So those defenders have a free right to go up and hit whatever's in front of them. So they're recognising the opportunity, but you're spot on, Hugo. The line speed is the real weapon here.
I think we're all too close there, gents. We're all too close. We're all too close. There's the mark. Don't encroach on it, please.
That was the whole point.
Well, we spoke about that after about minute 10, trying to get them a bit closer, and here we are a little bit later in the contest with similar problems. Lots of opinions out there, as always.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
And another early shove from Gloucester, allowing possession for Faletau. 14 minutes remaining. Bath, of course, needing that bonus point score. One more try for the full 5 points this afternoon. Tapawai driven back.
Ball is there.
Palmer Newport, Homer, and Bath getting a little bit of their own medicine here with the line speed of Gloucester. Batty. Strong work from Batty. Urbano. Cut down low by Ludlow. Fotuali'i. That was a little bit special, and Robbie Fruin stretches his legs to finish. There's the bonus point. Playoffs still a possibility. Fotuali'i, the creator, once more.
Well, he has been a huge influence on this game, Khan Fotuali'i, and he has become provider again. In the first half, it was a magical kick for Toby Faletau to get onto the end of. But in this instance, he's probing around that transition zone. He's seen the defenders. Hibbard's too far away. Fruin comes on a nice little late ball in behind, he's hidden, and he's got enough power and pace to finish that. Marvellous work from Fotuali'i.
He's a brilliant player. Fruin's come on to do exactly what he's meant to do, be an impact player, but once again it comes down to that communication and then the ability to execute under pressure.
First Premiership try for Robbie Fruin in only his second Premiership appearance. There goes Ben Tapawai, another busy afternoon for him. And on comes George Ford for the remaining 12 minutes or so. This is turning into something of a thumping for the Cherry and Whites.
Yeah, okay.
Just
keep going.
Brilliant no-look pass. Just great line.
Beautiful. It's almost the unspoken communication. Those two players know each other. Crusaders players back in the day, so they've got a good feeling for how they play with each other. And you know, Bath, you would say at this stage, are possessing a bit of an all-court game. Defensively, they've been on top. Attacking, they're on top. Their line-out defence has been excellent. They're playing a game that Gloucester can't compete with right at the moment.
Well, they're playing a game we haven't seen them play for a few weeks either, and you've got to wonder where they've been. Just as the Premiership reaches its conclusion, they've been faltering, but not today. They've been bang on task. Ellis. Bonus point in the bag. Priestland, Homer, Clark, Faletau. Urbano, little tip on for Stoot, great offload. Palmer Newport on the rampage. Ford Priestland, Batty. Bath are enjoying themselves now.
They really are. They're getting over the game line quite quickly. Good combination between the forwards and the backs. Really enjoying their rugby at the moment.
Priestland for Lowe. Hook and Savage combining defensively. So many options here for Bath. Players offering themselves up, running good lines. Clark searching, Homer weaving. Priestland, and that's just too far in front of Robbie Fruin this time.
Hang on.
Once again, really good control.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. Yeah. Okay, time off.
Well, this is the break. Lovely hands from Kane Palmer-Newport.
Okay.
Gets ball in two hands, looking to keep the ball alive. Once they get in behind, they start to spread the ball. Bath at the moment are playing some lovely attacking rugby.
Right, now I can't quite fathom what's going on here. Motu Matu'u is coming onto the field again because Hibbard is having to go off, which means that he must have passed his HIA. I mean, the whole thing just doesn't feel right, but there we are.
I mean, I'm not a doctor.
I'm not sure we need to be, do we?
Yeah, you don't have to be a meteorologist to know it's raining as well, do you know what I mean? But either way, it's on the pitch.
Away goes forward. Priestland clings on. Gloucester in a degree of disarray at this point in time. Kane Palmer-Newport exploiting the holes and heading for the try line. The tackle from Morgan. Desperate stuff from Gloucester, but surely they won't be able to hold out. Charteris, and on for Falatau. Wales's finest combining, and Bath stretching clear, outclassing their opposition right now.
Well, it is a class difference, and that's a very classy number 8 who we're going to see for the British and Irish Lions later in this year. The combinations and the development of the game Bath are producing at the moment, forwards and backs, Stoop straight through to Kane Palmer-Newport for the second time in the last 3 minutes. Quick ball from this breakdown, way to the wide channel. Charteris does brilliantly to hold it up here, and it's a little tip on to Falatau. That is irresistible Bath.
Second try of the afternoon for the Bath number 8. And having had a testing early season with injury, the smile is there. Outstanding game against the Tigers at Twickenham. A couple of tries in the Challenge Cup quarter-final against Breed. It's turning into an excellent late season for the Welshman. Wasn't far wide either. Ugo.
Yeah, Bath very good. Gloucester's defence all over the place. You see Billy Twelvetrees and Martu'u. Billy Twelvetrees is drifting. Martu'u, he's stepping in. There is no cohesion in that Gloucester defence, and Bath are taking every opportunity gone to him. I don't know whether that's a defensive frailty or disorganisation, or I don't know. Ali, I think you know what I'm saying.
I think we know where you're coming from. Questions that rugby is grappling with at the moment, and on occasions not quite finding the mark. Clark. Stoop. Straight into touch.
Well, now, I can safely say I've seen that before from Elliott a year or so ago, playing for London Irish, did the same thing, I believe it was here, and the same outcome. So possibly something he needs to work on a little bit more.
Yeah, or just not work on it.
Oh, you've got to maintain a degree of ambition in your game. His handling's been outstanding today. The kicking game, probably not in the quite class at the moment.
Matu'u, line out is good. Hook, Atkinson, Sharples, taking on Clark, taking on Brew and rounding both of them. And here goes Johnny May into the corner. Wow. Blizzard of tries, and that was very well worked off first phase. Sharples did brilliantly. May finished for his second.
It's the two old heads at Gloucester. Two wingers combining. Lovely little outside break from Charlie Sharples. Give that boy a bit of space. Outside arc. Big handoff. Perfect timing. Beats Homer. And Johnny May, well, he's going to finish that every single day. Lovely, lovely work. Max Clark, who's actually had an outstanding game, misses a one-on-one tackle. And from that far out, it is game over.
Not finished yet.
Yeah, certainly the one-on-one there. You missed that. It destabilises all the numbers defensively. And when you've got a quality finisher like May, who I think has worked really hard today, he's a good player, he's in good form, and he deserved to finish that.
5 minutes or so remaining in this contest. Johnny May making his presence felt. In excellent form. And in many regards, transformed. Poor old Dave Rogers there on the camera. He's taken a hammering for his day's work. He'll take it all in his stride, I'm sure.
Well, Elliot Stooke does need to do a bit of work, that's for sure.
Can you step back? Taking it.
12 trees. Tapping it on, and Halifanua
Inside now.
making a good fist of what he was given. Savage.
Gloucester desperate to play their way out of trouble, but you see the way Bath reacts. Look at every ruck. It'll be one or two men in it. Make the tackle. Hit the deck unless they sniff blood. Two men on the floor is just allowing.
Turnover ball. Try time. Falatau. A hat-trick at the Rec. Lethal finishing. And Bath utterly rampant this afternoon after a testing early period. A hard-fought first half. They have cut loose in the second 40.
Well, they're aggressive defensively, and this turnover, the ball pops out, and Chris Cook has the presence of mind to be on top of it. The referee says play on. Bath are just on top at the moment, and Toby Falatau, he's got himself 3.
Just the second time a hat-trick has been scored by a Bath forward. Five tries in this second spell. And a day to remember for Talupi Falatau.
Absolutely, what a wonderful game he's played. Sharp end of the season, there's been some wonderful players playing today. Futili, I think, has been outstanding, set up 2 tries, but Falatau, a hat-trick of tries, as you said, the second Bath player to do it. And with the Lions around the corner, he's in pretty good form. He's our Viva Premiership man of the match.
Ford looking to create a little bit of extra mayhem in the Gloucester ranks now. This could be his final game at the Rec for Bath before heading off to the Tigers. Aled Brew bowling his way up to halfway. Cook is on. Palmer Newport picked up by Clark, and the intercept nearly for Laidlaw.
Well, that's been the story of the game. It's almost been there for Gloucester, nearly. Bath starting to express themselves, are enjoying it. Kane Palmer Newport getting his hands on the ball, trying things where they probably might not want to be doing in their own half, but the game's wrapped up. There you are, Falatau, our Viva Premiership man of the match. He's been injured for so much of it, but I tell you what, the back end of the season, when he's got a string of games together, he was outstanding at the Clash, wasn't he? Decisive try. This is hat-trick try here. The Bath supporters will be thrilled. Warren Gatland will be ecstatic. But his players are starting to hit some form. A big summer ahead for that man there.
going to enjoy the last month by the look of things as well, isn't he? Slightly firmer grounds will suit his athletic style. And they've got the run of things at scrum time as well, although Moriarty's done brilliantly. 12 trees for Halifanua. Laidlaw leaves it hanging. Hook, 12 trees. No change out of Barno. Gloucester on a hiding to nothing really at this point. Sharples. Matu'u. May. 12 trees, that's better. Atkinson dumped. May for Halifanua, who will stroll through and wave goodbye to Tom Homer. A couple of late scores to Gloucester to put a degree of respectability on the scoreboard.
It's a really good line. Johnny May had about 3 touches in those last 3 phases, working off Laidlaw, getting round the corner, getting his hands on the ball. Lovely ball to Halifanua, who picks a deadly line, bisecting that Bath defence. 3rd try for them. Quick conversion from Greg Laidlaw. They're keen to get on with the game.
So, one.
The cameraman trying to
restart.
get on camera.
Is that what that's all about? Charteris needs a little bit of repairing by the look of things. There will be one last play, but a rather chastening day for Gloucester. Chances of finishing 6th now seem remote, and Champions Cup entry maybe via the playoffs if they can secure the trophy this season. And it does seem a little unfair that you can win it and not gain entry into the top flight, but that's the way it is. Those are the rules.
Well, what we've seen from Gloucester the last couple of weeks has kind of been the story of them the last few seasons. Brilliant last year. I mean, La Rochelle, apart from Leinster, the only team to be unbeaten in Europe this season. They go out there. What a performance that was. They were outstanding. And then today, just haven't shown up. 3 tries to their name, but all a little bit too late for them. They've allowed Bath to control the game, possessing territory, and quite clearly the scoreboard as well.
No, you're absolutely right, Hugo. And we've seen touches and flashes of it, but what they need to do is add that layer of consistency week on week and back that performance from La Rochelle up again this weekend. They'll look to build again, Gloucester. They've certainly got the talent. They've got guys in the team like May who want to keep trying and working. They'll never give up, but they need to have a little bit more accuracy with their performances.
Well, they are in a state of some desperation here on their own try line, still looking to create, keep that ball alive. Morgan, the latest. Top 6 out of reach now for Gloucester. 12 trees bustles his way forwards. Taken on by Kieran Knight, the young prop. Gloucester playing from behind the try line. Sharples, ball stolen by Ford, and Chris Cook will just take the win as it is. A bonus point hammering, and it means that Bath are still in the hunt for the playoffs. Sale away next week. They are hanging in there. They still need to make sure of another 5 points next weekend and hope that the Tigers slip up at 6 ways, but it is on. It is still on. Gloucester's European hopes dented. They are far from over, though. In the end, something of a romp for Bath. Full time at the Rec. Bath 44, Gloucester 20.
Deep cleaning is important in helping you create a cleaner home. So before you buy your next vacuum, ask yourself, does it provide 185 air watts of suction power? Do cyclones generate 79,000 G to capture fine dust particles? Does it trap 99.97% of fine dust as small as 0.3 microns and expel cleaner air? Powerful Dyson suction to deep clean your home. Buy now from Dyson.